Specific Pro Make or Break from Balkan ShipYards. Hi guys, in this episode you'll see how I build up his top side of the Vaca. I worked only on the Vaca at the moment I'm rigging. So there's the mast and yard for the junk rig to come. Start working on that now. But at the bottom in the descriptions you can click on the link over there. It's a sailing blog of mine that I just wrote for fun. It speaks about what I've sailed, where I've sailed, all this kind of stuff. It's a cool blog. I like it. Some good photos over there. Take care guys, all the best, eh? Balkan ShipYards. Specific Pro, Make or Break. Finally we're starting to build, Make or Break. Third Pro from Balkan ShipYards. So there you go. This is what I'm at. Cut off these ugly bells like I said. That has to get glassed on, no big deal. Okay, these are the bulkheads. These guys take the uckers very strong. So the 8mm ply 6/6, both sides are 6, and basically this is built for compression. Because it's turning corners and you got all these 90-degree turns and stuff, that's what gives it tremendous strength. This is what monocoque structure is all about. It's all about connecting stuff together and turning it into one solid rigid piece. And this is very strong. This is going nowhere. Now we have to raise the top sides. I'm trying to give him a little bit more freeboard, and we start messing with cardboard. There's a lot of taping up now and messing around, but basically what I want to do is I want to come out with the top side, and then from here it dives down to here somewhere. It all has to turn and come into a nice shape. It has to look good, has to be good, aerodynamic, hydrodynamic. You want shapes, you want stuff, you don't want a box, you know. Sailing a box is not cool. So we're going to come up with all the shapes now. At the moment these bulkheads are big. I leave stuff big until I know what I'm doing. The inside, the full bulkhead is proper. It's already got the right angle on it. And the next one over has to get cut. I'm looking for the angle now. I'm going to have to extend this piece forward. I might start using battens. I might do all kind of magic stuff. I don't know. I'm going to come up with it now as I do it, and I'll show you how I do it. And this is how we go, yeah. There's old Why Not. I really like him. I just don't like the crab claw that he had, and I don't like the fact that he's a little bit difficult to assemble, and then he's a little bit heavy for my car. On the wall that's crystal clear. The wooden one, that's Why Not. That one, those are the models. Crystal clear, she's a 23-foot Pacific Pro. She's on the Black Sea now. I had a schooner rig on her, 2 masts, and I've come to the conclusion that the less masts and the less sails and the better it is, you know what I mean? If things are small enough and you can handle one sail, then it's always best, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes more sails will help you because you're dividing it up into small sections and it's easy to work on, but most of the times it's just more complicated to work with. So keep sails and keep rigging to a minimum, and that's the way to go. So that's what we're going to try and do this year, and I don't know, good luck I guess. Balkan ShipYards. We get to it, show you how I build this thing. Okay, so this bulkhead's been cut perfectly to size and it's got the right heights. It's the same height over here, everywhere, and that's exactly the same again. That's what's good about a flat bottom boat, is that it's easy to measure from the bottom and to find all your sizes and stuff. The second one that's been put in has been put in oversized on purpose, so it's a little bit higher and it's a little bit wider. I will find this curve, but the top I need to just cut it off straight, the same height as this. But I can't really measure from here anymore because there's a little bit of locker. So what I want to do is I want to move that line over with a level. So the way I do things is First let me explain. I'm a builder, build houses, I frame houses, I'm a roofer. I build big wood stuff, and that's what I do for a living. And a level, the best tool in the world. It will always move a line over perfectly if everything's level, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I work with boat building too. So I level out my hull. The way I level the hull would be, it's just pretty simple, you know. I mean, I shim it up over there. You see there's a bunch of shims and stuff, and then I shim it, and then I get it level long way. So that level smack in the middle. Because I've got this rib over here, so I put on 2 pieces of wood that are exactly the same, and they are exactly the same distance from the middle of the boat. And then the level should go a little bit over, but that chair's in the way at the moment, that seat. But that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day the level is sitting on 2 pieces of wood that are the same distance from the middle. That is just a wedge. That is leveling this way, for this level. Now I know that my boat is level on the 2 axes, and it's all done. Now all I have to do is take this level, put it over here, level it like that, for example, and with a pencil mark under it and get the line from here to there, and then with an angle grinder I'll get these 2 bulkheads perfectly level at the same height compared to each other, compared to the bottom, compared to everything else, and then from there we can move on. Time to start working on the top side, on the template that I have to make. So basically I'm going to use a batten to roughly get the shape of things, and also I can look at it and get my bearings and see where it's going all. Okay, I've cut away this half of the bulkhead. I've evened it out with the other one. After leveling it and marking it, I use the angle grinder, then a little bit of a block sander to fix it up. That's done. Now at the moment this is still big, this side and the other one. So once the batten's clamped on, then it's curving in the right way and all the stuff's okay. That's the gap that has to come off the back one. So what I've done is I've taken the bevel from here, I've copied the bevel with my bevel square. There, got it. And this distance I put it onto here, and I take the same bevel and I just, from that line, I run it down, I mark my line. There's my line, okay, and I'll just take now my angle grinder and I'll take it away. So here it is, evened off, got a nice curve on the batten, and that's the last one that's left. You see the line, it's going down over there. Before I grind it away, I take measurements and I make sure it's in the middle, it's all the same, this one, that one, all the rest, everything's exactly the same. Once I know everything's exactly the same, then I can hit it. Yeah, I've made my line at the top. I'll keep on running it down. I'll tell you guys, I don't feel like messing with tripods, and so yeah. So I hold it in one hand, the camera, and then I shoot it, okay? And basically I haven't finished it. I could have finished it, but it just doesn't matter. You understood the picture. And angle grinders really eat up this stuff nice. Okay, I'm gonna go and blow my camera clean, it's full of dust. And there's the boat shear. So that's a fake shear clamp, just an old batten I pulled out of somewhere. I put it on, I like it, it's got a nice curve, and It's held in place the same angle all the way. It's got a little screw over here. It's got this pulling it slightly down, and then like I said, same angle over here. I use bevel squares. I use this tool a lot. This is an amazing tool, and you use it to copy bevels from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat. You play around, tape measures, the same height, the same bevel, the same distance, copy it exactly onto the other side, and that's all you need. Inside over here, I'll show you what's going on. This is, here's the top side. This poplar ply is not the best in the West, but that's what I got left. The way I like gluing up stuff with butt blocks. Okay, so this is Fuller. It's real nice glue. It's PU. You see, steering wheel from a ship. So that means it's marine stuff. There you see it's all squishing out over there. I put it down onto a block of wood. I put some plastic under. Bam, bam, bam. I knock in a few screws afterwards when I take it out. I'm going to fiberglass it from the outside anyway. So when I finish fiberglassing it, it's real strong. The shear clamp on the top is going to strengthen it. When it gets glued onto the boat, it's going to strengthen it. I wouldn't put all my life onto this glue job, but I'm happy with it. It's good. It's always worked for me, and it's good stuff. And that's what it is. Cut up the template. I made it. It looks very sweet. I love it, but I don't need it. What I've done is I've clamped this thing on like temporary. So we got the whole top side on now. There's the PU glue squishing out everywhere. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it against the gunnel all the way on the inside. On the outside, on the bottom, I'm going to... So I measured over here, distance down to the boat, 6 centimeters. On the other end, exactly the same. This is smack in the middle, so it's all good. Now, alright, got to flip him over. Give me a hand, give me a hand. Okay, thanks guys. So I'll mark the line over here, and then I add this distance, because I'm going to plane away the shear clamp, and I'm going to bevel it according to the top side, so it glues on all the way, and then I'll fill it a little bit. There'll probably be a little bit of a fillet at the bottom. So I need to mark it now where it's touching the corner of the shear clamp, and add a little bit. I'll decide how much I'm going to add. I don't know, probably something like 25 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and that will be the line, the cut line that goes all the way. Okay, so here's the top side. I glued on a shear clamp. Shear clamp is about 18, I think, thick, and 22 wide or something. New polyurethane. Here you see it squishing out over here. 1,000,001 clamps. I put a board under, and I'm clamping onto the board. Important to use plastic, otherwise it messes up everything. Here's so this is the cut line, the most left line. That's the cut line. So here's the first foot of the top side, and that's the way it looks. Okay, so I notched out the bulkheads to take the shear clamps. So you notch out a little bit high because you want a fair. You want the shear clamp sticking up. You don't want to notch out the full size, go down deep, because then it will be over here. It's going to be low over here. You're going to be missing material. So if this is 25, I measured it a little bit earlier. So I cut out 20 over here, so it sticks up over here. And then once I plane it, then it all comes out even. When I put on the deck, I get full adhesion. Epoxy glues onto all wood. Okay, now this is where the mess starts. This has to... I have to hit this with a planer now. I have to hit this with a planer until it lies. Until this lies almost to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. I don't think I'll get all the way to the bottom. So then I'm counting on putting in a small fillet underneath and filling it up. So yeah, I'll get planing. I'm going to use an electric planer. it lying over like that. So basically the angle of the bulkheads is my reference for going down. So between the bulkheads I'll roughly keep that angle, and as I come forward I'll bevel it more. I'll do my best, and then whatever, if I don't get it the way I want it, I'll just, you know, fill it with epoxy. So I got one side done. There it is behind me. I'm not showing you the process of how I do things because it's just a waste of time. So the machine that I use is this thing. I've got a bunch of those ones. I mean, you just, this type of building requires a tool like this. This thing is amazing. This is 36 grit paper. If I can buy 24, I'll buy 24. You want them as coarse as possible. This thing just eats wood, man. And I was thinking of planing it, planing the gunnel, the shear clamp. See, now it's all lined up, looks real good. But then I just said to myself, I mean, just start up that thing and hit it hard. And that's what I've done. Basically, this, anybody that builds clinkers really knows how to do this well, because that's how you fill in. Every plank gets, you know, matched and fed onto the previous one. And basically this is how clinkers are made. But they plane away over there with block planes and stuff. But that's the way to do it. I mean, I respect that. But me, I just hit it with an angle grinder. So here's the next side. Is going to happen soon. So before I glue on the top side, before I glue anything with the epoxy, I first wet out everything. I don't know if it shows, but every single bit has been wet out. This section, which will be like that later, and it gets closed off, that will never see daylight. That will be too much of a problem to sand. I wet out the whole thing with epoxy, one coat, ciao. Once it's closed up, good riddance, bye bye. I wet out everything. Everything's wet out. I wet out more than what I need, so there's no dry sections. Everything's been sanded. Everything's been blown clean with a compressor. Very important. Always take a compressor, an air gun, and blow everything super clean. Everything, like I said. And here it is. Here's the top side. I mark with a pencil above and under the gunnel of the boat, and I wet out the whole thing. After wetting out just with a simple brush and clear epoxy, I mix in baking powder, flour. I used to use sawdust. I just don't have any. Works fine. So once I've mixed in the baking powder, flour, whatever you call it, and it looks like this kind of stuff, and the boat has been wetted out and everything's wetted out, everything's ready to go, all you want to do is really, I don't know, I like doing it with a paintbrush. You just want to dab it on. This is a filler. That's what it is. So if there's any voids between the two surfaces, they immediately get filled up 100% with material, and it will never leak, and it's a very strong bond, and that's the way. So once I do the whole boat, then I'm going to put the side on and screw it on. When you mix epoxy for fillet, you want to have it like come to like a peanut butter whatever the word is, consistency or something like that, and then so you want it to stay where you put it. I'm personally using baking flour, just because I ran out of sawdust, out of saw powder, wood powder. I've run out. I've never used micro balloons and all these high-tech stuff, materials, whatever. I don't know if I can find them over here in Bulgaria, and if I can find them, I don't know. Do I really want to spend money on them? here at Balkan ShipYards we kind of build freestyle, eh? We kind of do as much as we can with what we have, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I work my ass off on the roof for 10 to 12 hours a day. I might take away 50 euro at the end of that day, and of that 50 euro I pay for my machines, I pay for my fuel, I pay for my this, I pay for my that. So I don't know, what am I taking away? I don't know, 4 euro an hour or something. I mean, like, so yeah, when you make such amazing cash and you're so rich and your life is so good, then use baking powder. All the best, guys. Balkan ShipYards. Freestyle, man. If poplar is cheap for me, I buy poplar. If baking powder in my fillets is cheap for me, I buy baking powder. My epoxy costs 15 euro a liter. I don't think it's cheap, but anything else, even not marine grade epoxies over here, anything else that is like fancy stuff, goes double that immediately. Immediately it goes to like 30 euro a liter. And we're not talking about all these wear system this and all these fancy mass bass whatever. We're just talking about like whatever, you know. So yeah, if you want to build a boat, just build a boat. That's it. I've put my thickened epoxy all the way on the gunnel. The top side's been wetted out. You can see it's shiny. And now it's time to put it on. Of course, I've had a dry fit and I know exactly where it goes. It's all marked. So I'll just bring it into place. Okay. Now a couple clamps will help me keep things in place. I've got small pieces of plywood with a screw and a washer, and they're all prepared. I've got about 20 pieces lying down over there. I just screw them all in into the old holes, and everything goes back together. And then you start from the middle. The way I like to do it is start from the middle, go left, and then go right. And that way you squeeze in and out, and you flatten in and out, and there's not going to be a bubble or bulge or something like that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So you start one end, you go left all the way, and then you go the other end, and you go the other way. Screw it all up and you're done. Okay, so the top side's all been screwed on. I don't know how many, about 20 screws or something. And now I'll start filleting over here. I build it up with thickened epoxy. Of course I wet out first, paint it first with a brush, clean epoxy, clear. And then I wet out, and I just bring it up to a little bit. I just want to have a nice angle. I don't want to have, at the moment, you know, if a drop of water falls in there, that drop of water is going to stay there and seep into the wood, into the epoxy. So you want to just have a small fillet over there, sending the water back down, adding a little bit of strength. And then I've put on a few strips of fiberglass, Shear small ones, just so I got a bond between this ply and this ply. Here's my filleting tools. So this one is a nice radius for doing this. So I'll do this with it now. And then these ones I'll do with this side. Okay, then I glass tape it over here. So it comes out like that. I don't know if you can see. Maybe this side's a little bit better. Filleted, glass taped. Basically, you really want to bond You want to hold your bulkhead in place, eh? Okay, so then I've got a smaller one and a bigger one on this, and this one I made for doing this. So then afterwards I would take this, on the other side I still got to do it, and I fill it this all the way, and then in a couple of days when I sand it away, it's going to turn into a nice full-on curve. Once it's painted, you'll never ever know that it's all been glued up with stuff. That's it. Okay guys, so that was this Balkan ShipYards episode whatever, and top sides and all this kind of stuff. Next episode will be mast step, a little bit of inside reinforcements, a little bit of decking and stuff. I'm not going to do the whole deck because I just want to take him for a run. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'll be grateful, eh? Keep with us, support Balkan ShipYards, man. Give us a hand, and people, I mean, like, this is how we do stuff, you know. There's many ways to skin a cat, eh? Many ways to skin a cat, and there's no wrong and there's no right in how things can be done. Yes, there are things that are not advisable, there are things that are better, there's things that are not as good, there's things that are this, there's things that are that. But sometimes, you know, if you want to build a boat, you just got to build a boat, you know, and you can't take all the factors into account, you know. Sometimes it does come down to, you know, economical power of the builder. It does come down to what materials are available to the builder. It does come down to how much time, how many people, how many helpers, how many this, how many that, what size workshop, what size, what kind of tools, what kind of this, what kind of that, transporting, again, finding it. Comes down to 1,000,001 things, you know. And all I want to say is, if you want to build a boat, just build a boat. Take care. Balkan ShipYards. All the best.